Welcome in, everyone, to an NFL Draft Guide episode. We're talking about the top 100 picks, going team by team and analyzing with 4 different prospects per pick, each different team. We're trying to hit 50% of these. I know I'm giving myself multiple chances, but this is a thought experiment. Be sure to follow along. Be sure to go check and see if your other teams, maybe your favorite team, is already been posted or it will be. So hit the bell, hit the like button, the comment button, the subscribe button, all very much appreciated. Today, we're talking about the Tennessee Titans. For starters, I will just go through my process briefly. I did my own opinion combined with the consensus of others, a major media outlets specifically, the team needs for each team going into the draft post free agency. Then, of course, I looked at each individual selection. As you can see here, the Titans have the 4th pick, 35th pick, and 66th pick. The green, obviously, first rounders, yellow, second rounders, red is third rounders. Then I tracked every single team's 30 visits, combine interviews, and pro day attendance. Not to mention, I did my own rankings as well as combined. Let's go back this way. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to overall rankings. There we go. I did my own rankings, combined them with the consensus rankings of DraftBuzz, ESPN, CBS, NFL Network, Pro Football Focus, and did a top 200 rankings of all of the prospects in this class. There's been a lot of work that's gone into this, but it is so unbelievably fun to be able to finally close out with these videos. Be sure to follow along. Once again, trying to hit 50% of these. Most mock drafts only hit about 10 to 20%. I am quadrupling my chances here, but I'm also hoping to quadruple or quintuple my success. So let's get started with the Tennessee Titans. Consensus-wise, running back is 1,000% a team need, and I think we all know where I'm kind of going with this, but also linebacker, wide receiver, and edge rusher would be my next 3, as well as interior offensive line. Getting Cam Ward any type of help in this draft, whether that's on the offensive side of the football in the skill group, the front or the line of scrimmage with the offensive line, or the front 7 on defense. A lot of people don't think or take into account helping a young quarterback with a better defense, but let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, defense truly matters in this league. It is not like other professional organizations or other professional sports. Defense plays a huge factor into your ability to win Super Bowls, win championships, get there to that moment. Just ask the Seattle Seahawks with their new dark side defense. So, that being said, Robert Saleh is a defensive guy. He has loaded up in free agency on the defensive side of the football. I would not be surprised if the Titans decide to double down here in this draft and go with a few defensive guys in their top 100 picks. That being said, though, it is kind of imperative to surround Cam Ward in the skill group with competent players. Right now, they've got Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson. That's kind of about it in terms of like starting caliber players. So I think they'll go a little offensive heavy. But let's talk about the team selections. Starting here at number 4. There's been so much buzz about this pick. Is it going to be Ruben Bain? Are they really going to take Jeremiah Love? What happens if David Bailey or Arvell Reese somehow slipped to spot number 4? Will they take them? All things considered, I have selected 4 of these players. We're going to get in here and talk about them. So for starters, I think Arvell Reese is the gem of a lot of people's eyes. He has been an extremely high demanded prospect ever since the combine began. He blew the combine out of the water, him and his teammate Sonny Styles. And Reese is kind of a hybrid player. Played a lot of edge rusher just last season, but that's been his really only experience at the position. Been more of a linebacker before that. I'm really curious to see what happens with Arvell Reese. Right now, I have him mocked to the Jets, but a lot of people are saying that Aaron Glenn is going to go with David Bailey because the Jets need to win to save his job. I'm not saying yes or no to that. Let's see what the front office has to say. I think they're going to go with Arvell Reese, but that being said, if for some reason Arvell Reese falls to spot number 4 for the Tennessee Titans, I can almost guarantee you with all sense of certainty they would be taking him at 4. No way are they letting probably the highest upside player in this draft fall below pick number 4. Next up, though, I don't think Arvell Reese is going to be there. So the number one team need, in my opinion, is running back. And there is a generational running back in this draft. I think he's better than Christian McCaffrey coming out of college. Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, is the number one prospect in this draft. Better than Fernando Mendoza, better than the upside of Arvell Reese. However, of course, those two positions are far more important than running back. So taking him 4 is far more likely than him being selected number 1 or number 2. Those are my top 2 right now. Next up, I got Ruben Bain out of Miami. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about Ruben Bain. He's a very polarizing prospect. Some people look at the production and the tape and say, I don't see any problems. And the others say this is an unprecedented prospect. He has some of the shortest arms of an edge rusher in NFL Combine history. And there's really no precedent for success in terms of his wingspan. Edge rushers really have longer-ish wingspans because they're going up against tackles that are 6'6", 6'7", and have 6'8" to 7-foot long wingspans. If they get the punch on you first, it's so much harder to win your block after that, and Ruben Bain's arms are extremely short for an edge rusher. However, I would not be surprised to see the Titans take him. Robert Saleh is an engine guy, and Ruben Bain's probably got the best engine on defense in this whole entire draft class. Last but not least, David Bailey. Once again, kind of like Arvell Reese, has been mocked all the way up at number 2, and I've seen him mocked all the way down to 13 with the Dolphins. Or 13 with the Rams, excuse me. He is a very up and down prospect. I think he's probably the best win now defensive player in this draft. He's kind of reached the peak of his powers. The question is if you're a rebuilding team, do you want a win now player on your roster? Or would you rather take a higher upside player? Personally speaking, I would take a higher upside player. So that's why David Bailey is last on this list. But I do think out of these 4 players, Jeremiah Love and David Bailey are ready to impact winning the absolute most. So at pick number 4, the Titans will select Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love, Ruben Bain, or David Bailey. Now we move on to pick 35. Pick 35 is a contentious one because the Titans are going to be shooting for the stars here. I just don't know if the stars are going to align for them to actually attain something like this. The number one option here is going to be Casey Concepcion, but I am pretty wholeheartedly convinced that Casey Concepcion will be a first-round selection, day 1 selection. If he's not, he'll be selected before 35. This is a guy that has shown just how much time, effort, and want to that he has for the game, not to mention has unbelievable amounts of talent. Reminds me a lot of some other players that have gone in this draft that have shown off the work ethic that you really need to in the offseason to rise up draft boards. Had a fairly impressive combine as well. Like I said, he's been a high-demand player, had a lot of draft interviews, 30 visits, and pro day attendance, so I don't think he'll be here, but if he is, Titans are absolutely going to get their guy. Next up, Zion Young, the edge rusher out of Missouri. This is quite the polarizing prospect. I've seen him ranked as high as, I believe, 22, and he's fallen as low as like 109th in some of these NFL ranking lists. I personally have him around this area in the 30s, early 40s. I do think he'll be available here. This is most likely going to be the pick if the Titans select Jeremiah Love with the 4th pick. If they go with Arvell Reese, David Bailey, or Ruben Bain, I think they'll move on to a couple of other different positions, specifically defensive back. So number 3 on this list is going to be Brandon Cisse, which I did actually have to go look up his last name pronunciation, and that is how you say it. He is the corner out of South Carolina. He's got a lot of great mentors and people to look up to from that South Carolina defensive back group. There is a stacked class of South Carolina DBs from history's past, specifically recently, like Nicky Manwari and J.C. Horn. The list can go on. Stephon Gilmore, Bump and Run Gilmore. There's a lot of different players to talk about at defensive back from South Carolina, and Brandon Cisse is just yet another one of those guys. Super excited to see what he has to offer the league. That could be more of a last-ditch effort here at pick 35 if some of these other guys have gone through. The last prospect that I want to mention is Caleb Banks. Once again, Caleb Banks is an athletic specimen. There's nobody that I've seen at his size, at his position, that's moving like him in this draft class. He has very fluid hips. He has tremendous size. I'm really looking forward to see what he can do in the NFL. The injury concerns are definitely noted. You saw him, start to participate in the combine, and then he had to tap out because of his injury concerns. I'm kind of, polarized on Caleb Banks. Like I said, the raw athletic talent is there, but the refined consistency is not. I do think the Titans will be able to discern which one of those probably has the higher upside, and that's why I have him at 35. So at pick 35 for the Titans, I've got Casey Concepcion, Zion Young, Caleb Banks, and Brandon Cisse. Those are my 4 selections that I think the Titans will choose from. Last but not least, let's talk about pick 66. This is going to be kind of a tough one just because 66 in this draft class is a very weird space to be picking, in my opinion. There are players that could fall from the low 40s, or I guess high 40s, down into the 60s. And then there's also players that I think a lot of teams will stretch on all the way up into the 90s, maybe even high 80s. There's just a lot of different variants to go here. These are the hardest picks to select from. But for starters, I've got Jake Galdi, the linebacker from Cincinnati. There's a lot of people that are really high on him. I seriously doubt that he'll fall here. He's had a lot of interest from a bunch of teams reading report after report on him. I don't think he'll be here at 66. Right now, I think he's my 49th highest rated prospect. I think a lot of other teams might even have him higher. So I doubt that he'll be here. The Colts need a linebacker, but if he's here, they will select him. Next up, Eli Stowers. A lot of people starting to get, buzz about him after his great combine performance. I'm a fan of his. I thought he played extremely well with Diego Pavia last year, but the Colts already have Tyler Warren, the tight end from last year's Michigan team, first round pick for the Colts, and he had a tremendous season. I'm not really sure why the Colts are interested in him, but I've gone through reports and I've seen him there. Maybe they like to run more 21 personnel. They want to run more heavy tight end sets with both of their tight ends being athletically dynamic. Would not be surprised. I just wanted to mention that because it does seem like they have a lot of interest in Stowers and his game. Now a guy that I have not mentioned yet in the videos that I've done previously. By the way, guys, be sure to go check out those videos. They are packed with information. Trayden Stukes, I believe, corner, I'll say defensive back in this class. Very interested to see where he goes. He is one of those polarizing guys where would not be surprised if I saw him being selected in the upper to lower 40s, and also would not be surprised if he fell to being a day 3 selection. I'm kind of high on him. I don't think other teams are as high as I am, but that's just what I have right now. Now, we move on to the last selection with pick 66, and I've got Keelan Rutledge, the offensive guard out of Georgia Tech, with that selection. The reason I select him here is because winning the offensive line of scrimmage is key. And the offensive coordinator for this team, Brian Daboll, is a run the football type of guy. He was pounding the rock last year with Cam Scatterbo. He did the exact same thing with Saquon Barkley while he was there in New York. He did it while he was with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills as the offensive coordinator. And then going back to his days at Alabama, did the same damn thing. So really interested to see where the Titans go with this pick. I don't think that they would stretch on a guy like Eli Stowers when they have some other team needs. I'm talking about Eli Stowers as if he's going to the Colts. Guys, I apologize. We're talking about the Tennessee Titans. They absolutely need a tight end. What am I saying? Eli Stowers is absolutely going to be here for the Titans, and I would not be surprised at all to see him selected here. What a foolish misplay by me. Just shows you how many of these I've done. So let's recap real quick. Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love, Ruben Bain, and David Bailey at pick number 4. Pick number 35, Casey Concepcion, Zion Young, Caleb Banks, Brandon Cisse. And at 66, we got Jake Galdi, Eli Stowers, Trayden Stukes, and Keelan Rutledge. So those are my selections for the Titans. Sorry about the misplay there, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the other videos that I'm going to do. I'm going to do all 32 teams before we get to the draft next Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching, And guess what? We'll see you next time.